Hello! Have you got F52 and a spanner on the display of your Vaillant EcoTec Plus combination boiler? Now in the Vaillant manual it says that F52 is a mass flow sensor fault, but I know as an engineer those fault codes aren't always correct, and there's a possibility it might be something else like the PCB. My customer called me to do an annual service on a boiler, and when I got there, the F52 and a spanner were already in the display, and the boiler kind of appeared to be working okay. After questioning my homeowner, she told me that some of the radiators weren't getting very hot, and the hot water didn't seem as hot as it normally is. She was just putting that down to the cold winter we've been having. So my initial thought was, is it going to be the mass air flow sensor which is faulty, or is it a problem with the circuit board? Because this mass airflow sensor isn't cheap, it's around £180. Ouch. So you don't want to get this wrong. Now I called a colleague of mine because I knew he'd had the same fault codes on the boiler he was working on, and he'd also had the same things happening on the boiler which was happening on the boiler that I was working on. So I was then fairly confident that it was going to be the mass flow sensor that was actually faulty. So in this video I'm going to show you exactly what was happening on the boiler that I was working on. I then changed the mass flow sensor and replaced it with a new one, do a few tests to make sure everything's working correctly, and then that's it. Job's done. Right, now let's get on with the video. So here's the Vaillant boiler, and this is a Vaillant EcoTec Plus 831. And in the display, we can see there's a spanner and there's F52 on the top above the temperature. When I tried entering into engineering mode by pressing the two buttons at the top, scroll down to installer level, enter the installer code, press OK, and then I take a look at the fault history. There's some messages in there saying mass flow sensor not connected. Come back out of there and then go into full power mode by pressing the plus and minus buttons together. So push those in, and now the boiler should go up to full power. And then we get this message again, mass flow sensor not connected. Normally you can repress the plus and minus buttons and come out of full power mode, but it wouldn't do that. Because this is a fault code, I then had to press the reset button to reset the boiler. When I turn the hot tap on, you can see that the hot tap is flashing in the display, but the power level of the gas, that went right to the top and it just stayed there, no matter how fast the water was running. And the water wasn't very hot, it was just coming out of the tap lukewarm. So there was no gas valve modulation going on. So here's the new mass airflow sensor, and you can see the part number on there. So I'm going to replace that faulty mass airflow sensor in the boiler, which is just there, behind the gas valve. Of course, to replace this part in your boiler, you should be a gas registered engineer. So the first thing I'm going to do is to turn the boiler off, and then undo the nuts connecting the mass airflow sensor to the gas valve. Because this is on the outside of the gas valve, I don't actually need to turn the gas off underneath the boiler. That's the nut undone. I can now lift the pipe clear and pull out the retaining clip which is on the mass flow sensor. So there we are, that's that clip now removed. And now I can now just move the pipe gently and lift it off the mass flow sensor. Now be careful here because there is a little kind of flow restrictor or something, this yellow piece here, and that needs to be refitted onto the new mass flow sensor. Now I'm guessing that these are probably going to be different sizes in different sized boilers. Let's take a look at the new mass flow sensor to get an idea of how it comes off the boiler. It looks like it's some kind of bayonet fitting there with those lugs on the end, and also the air intake needs to be removed because obviously that slots onto there as well. In the box we've also got a new rubber O-ring and of course the fibre washer for the gas pipe. So now I'm going to remove the air inlet tube. That's just one screw, so that's nice and easy. I can now give it a pull and a twist and it just pulls off the mass flow sensor. If you're a homeowner watching this, please don't have your washing machine turned on when your engineer is trying to work on your boiler. Now I need to carefully remove this electrical plug because we don't want to damage it. Trying to work out how to release these electrical plugs can be really tricky. After a little fiddling around, it finally came out, and there it is. Now to release this, you need to squeeze on that little kind of retaining clip, which is on the top of the plug. I've got it upside down here, and then that lifts the clip up inside the plug, and then you can pull the plug out. Take your time with this because I've seen these plugs broken in the past. To remove the mass flow sensor, all we got to do is to twist it around, and then it goes all the way around and kind of stops, and then we can pull it out off the intake. And there we go, that's the old one now removed. Pretty straightforward, I would say. This little unit is so expensive because there's some kind of little fancy sensor inside there which measures the gas and air ratio. Now I'm going to remove the old fibre washer. Now I always snap in half fibre washers because you don't want to use them again because they've been compressed. So I definitely can't use this one again or get it muddled up with a new one. Now I've got this little restrictor thing. There's no O-ring in the box to replace the O-ring on there. I've now replaced the O-ring on the gas pipe with the new one. Now initially I fitted the new airflow sensor in the boiler, and then I went to fit the pipe onto the mass flow sensor, but this is way too tricky. Don't do it like that. If we look inside the mass flow sensor, you can see there's two little holes which the restrictor needs to fit into, and then the restrictor is pushed down into the flow sensor. And there we go, that's the flow restrictor fitted into the sensor. It's much easier to fit the gas pipe now, and then fit the stainless steel retaining clip. And there we go, it just pushes on. You might want to consider putting a little bit of silicone grease on the O-ring just to help it slip in. Now it's just a case of installing it into the intake. Now I have put a little smear of silicone grease on the O-ring because it was quite tight the first time I fitted it in. Twist the gas pipe to the side so it's out the way, and now just rotate the whole thing forwards like that. And there we go, that was much easier with the silicone grease, and now I can line the pipe up with the gas valve, ready to be done up. As usual, I hope you find this video useful. If you are, then please give me that feedback by clicking on the old thumbs up, click on the subscribe, ring on the bell, and share it with anyone else who may find it interesting. And don't forget, down in the description, you'll find lots of other links to videos which I've made all about your central heating system and your boiler, like how to make your boiler more efficient by adjusting those controls. So now get the new fibre washer and put it into position. Now just screw the nut down onto the gas valve. You should be able to do this easily with your fingers. If you have to use a spanner, you might have it cross-threaded, so be careful. And then finally just nip it up with the spanner. Plug in the electrical connection, like that. Give it a little tug just to make sure it's secure. And then finally reinstall the intake pipe. This just pushes onto the mass flow sensor. After I finish doing up the screw, I always make sure that the air intake is pushed fully onto the mass flow sensor because it's easy for it just to come off. And if it's not correctly fitted, it can cause the boiler not to fire up properly. Now it's just a case of turning the boiler on and checking that that fault code has gone away and see if the boiler operates correctly. So the screen's just loading. And there we go, the spanner's gone and that fault code has gone as well. Let's just do a little test, run a tap and see if that works correctly. So turn the hot water on, not too fast because I want to see the gas valve modulate and that power symbol going up on the left hand side. So back to the boiler again, see if we got our tap there. There's our tap, and there, look, we can see the gas now is just rising up to full power, and then it's going to drop down again as the boiler modulates down and reduces the amount of gas the boiler is using. And there we go, we can see that it's working correctly now. I can turn the hot water off from here. That's nice and easy. Hot water's now off, symbol's gone away. Now I'm going to press the plus and minus buttons together to put the boiler into chimney sweep mode, which is full power, and I expect to see the radiator symbol come up, which it has, the gas flame to come on, which it has, indicating that the boiler is now lit. And again, you can see the gas is modulating, and I can hear that the boiler is now operating correctly. Don't forget to turn that tap back on again. Now I'm just going to go into engineering mode again and set the boiler to full power on the P1 setting, and then I'm going to check for leaks to make sure that all the gas connections are sound. So there we go, P1 max load. Now the boiler is going to ramp up to its maximum power. I'm going to test it with my little beeper here, make sure that there's no leaks around any of these fittings here, and that all looks absolutely fine. Check my gas sniffer's working okay by putting it on the glass, and then it goes absolutely nuts because it always smells a little bit of gas around the spyglass. Now I'm just going to do an analyzer check and make sure it's running correctly. Still in the P1 settings for maximum power. And you can see it's a little bit high. We could just reduce that down to, say, somewhere between 50 and 80 by adjusting this little adjuster screw. Now I did have to turn that in quite a few turns to drop the level down. But you can see now I got a CO reading of 8.8, COP reading of 67, and a ratio of 0.0008, which is all absolutely fine. Now I'm going to set it to P2, make sure the reading is correct in its lowest power mode. And once again, that reading is absolutely fine. So I think we're all good to go. And there we go, the cover's back on the boiler now. Our hot water is hot again, and all the radiators are getting nice and hot all the way around the house. This is a long-term customer of mine, and of course she's really happy now that her boiler is all up and running again. Oh, quickly, if you want to know how to install a Hive system on your combination boiler, check out my other videos all about how to install a Hive system on your boiler. Right, that's about it then. So I do hope the video has been useful to you. If you want to watch one of my other videos, you can click on the links just here. And of course, click on the old thumbs up, click on subscribe, ring on the bell, share it with anyone else who may find it interesting, and a cup of coffee in my toolbox front is always really appreciated. Bye for now, and I hope to see you in the next video.